Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's Tempo Wellness webinar on exercise at your own pace. I'm Wilmarie Joubert, a Tempo Wellness coordinator with Bestmed, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. Thank you for taking the time to join this session. We hope you find it insightful and inspiring. Please feel free to type any questions that you have into the chat box, and we will open the floor at the end of the sessions for you to ask your own questions. As part of our ongoing series in 2025, we will be diving into various topics to help you up your tempo and thrive in 2025. Today's focus is on practical tips for staying active, boosting strength, mobility, and cardio health. You will receive step-by-step guidance on how to guide your fitness journey tailored to your own pace and lifestyle. We are very pleased to have Kobus Verster with us today. Kobus is a Tempo partnered biokineticist and entrepreneur with 20 years of experience and a proven track record of success in development and implementing innovative wellness solutions for corporates and medical aids. I want to remind you of your Tempo benefits. Kobus, if you can just move to that slide for me, please. Thank you. So I want to remind you of your Tempo benefits. The Tempo benefits are available to all their members above the age of 16 years. You start off with your Tempo lifestyle screening, which a member has to complete that gives you an overall status of your health. The nurse must take the biometric screening and submit it on the Bestmed portal. This unlocks your access to the nutrition and the physical well-being benefits. So you can go to a Clicks, a Dis-Chem, a Van Heerden pharmacy, a Arinal pharmacy, and a local choice pharmacy or clinics, or even a selected Tempo partnered biokineticist like Kobus. They do the Tempo lifestyle screening and it unlocks your benefits. Then you get nutritional benefits and physical well-being benefits. You get 2 consultations with a Tempo partnered biokineticist and 2 consultations with your Tempo partnered dietitian. Kobus, thank you for making yourself available today. We are really looking forward to everything that you have for us today. Over to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Wilmarie. Everyone, welcome to our Bestmed webinar. As Wilmarie mentioned, if there are any questions, feel free to ask. I don't mind if there's in the chat box or afterwards, just ask any questions. The floor is open. As Wilmarie mentioned, I am a registered biokineticist and I will be presenting today. Looking forward to this session because obviously this is my scope, this is my passion, and this is what I do on a daily basis. So guys, as Wilmarie mentioned, we'll be discussing movement at home and in the office, where obviously that is where we're spending most of our time. So it's vitally important that we look after our bodies. Now, if we're thinking of exercise, we always think the basics and we're thinking, why do we want to exercise? And we're thinking it's all about weight loss, it's all about muscle building, it's all about toning and fitness. But there is another component, there's another aspect to it also. And that is where we want to look after our bodies. As I mentioned, we're spending most of the time in front of our computers, we are slouching, and this is us on a daily basis. We are spending so much time in front of those computers. And obviously, as you guys have heard, sitting is the new smoking. So we are damaging our bodies. And that is so important. And that's why we need to focus on exercising, stretching, moving, and keeping those joints open. So guys, with us sitting every day, most importantly, we are damaging our back because we are sitting and we are squeezing those discs closed. And all those discs are narrowing and we're losing space. And what that means then is with the discs then moving closer, we've got more friction in between the discs then. And that then causes pain. And that's when you're sitting with low back issues, sciatica, and all of those type of injuries. Now I'm delving into this before we get into the good the nitty-gritty of why we're exercising and why we need to look at exercising and being active and healthy. Not just, as I mentioned, it's not just about looking good in the mirror. It's not just about weight loss and building those muscles. It's always we need to look at our bodies also. And as I said, the first thing that we normally struggle with is low back pain because we're sitting so much in front of our computers. We are slouching forward. This is us. This is us. And just by sitting so much, our heads are going forward, our shoulders are going forward, and we are getting stiffer. So we're sitting with headaches, neck spasms, deep vein thrombosis, and all those blood circulation issues also from just not being active. So as I said, mentioned, today I will be taking you guys through just the certain important exercises, things that you need to look out for. I will not be delegating what you need to do, but I will be guiding you on which exercises are most important and which I think you need to do on a daily basis. I'm just keeping an eye there on the chat box. Everybody's still good. Everybody's still happy with the sound there. As I mentioned, with you sitting in front of your computer also, yes, you're damaging your lower back, but then also we are slouching forward. So the shoulders are also rounding forward. With the shoulders then rounding forward, we've got those impingement in the shoulder, in the shoulder ball and socket joints. With that roundness in our posture there, we're getting those impingements in the shoulders. And that's why it's vitally important to also focus on opening up those spaces. We're going to go through the exercises now in the next few minutes there. But as I mentioned, we are closing the discs. We are compressing the spaces. We're closing the spaces in between in the shoulder joints and in the hip joints also. Now, fast forward 20 years later, we're sitting with shoulder impingements. We're sitting with hip issues. We're sitting with lower back pain. We're sitting with neck pains. And I see this a lot in the corporate market where people are slouching and you fast forward 5 years, 10 years later, and they are shorter. You're losing space. You're losing, you're a lot shorter than you used to be. And people seem surprised, but it's all just due to bad posture. So that's why it's mentioned, one of the first exercises that's vitally important is pulling exercises. Pulling exercises. We're going to delve later on into the stretches, what I also recommend. But if from this webinar, it's the only thing that you remember that you need to do on a daily basis is any pulling exercises, opening up the space, opening up those joints, and opening up the shoulder blades. Because we need to activate those shoulder blades to pull back the shoulders, basically. So where do we start? Where do we start? We're trying to now start exercising at home. We're trying to now be a little bit more active. We need to start somewhere. By either you want to start losing weight at home, or you want to start pushing up your cardiovascular fitness. The first thing that we need to do is we need to try and keep yourself accountable for what you want to achieve. What is your goal? Is it realistic? Is it something that's achievable? Is it specific? And those are all the smart principles that we need to focus on. So the first thing, as I mentioned, accountability, and that you normally do by, as Villemary mentioned, you go and do your assessment first. You monitor yourself. So you do your assessment first with the Bestmed biokineticist or at your local pharmacy. Do your assessment. You go and do your measurements, and that's where you're going to see then what is your waist. What is your waist measurement? What is your BMI? How much? What is your suggested weight that you need to be according to your age and your and all of that, the specific norms that you have. So then you've got some sort of a starting block to start off with. Start from, because you need to know where you're starting and where you want to go to, where you want to on your journey forward, basically. So that's the first thing that we're going to start with. Then the second thing then is you need to get equipment. A lot of times people think, yes, it's difficult. Equipment is expensive. But the thing is, you don't need to go and break the bank and get the most expensive equipment. Training at home does not cost almost anything. But the basics that you need, if you want to now start with an exercise program at home, is you would need yourself, your own body weight. So it doesn't cost you anything. To do squats, to do lunges, to do push-ups against the kitchen counter doesn't cost you anything. It just needs that you need to just have that drive and that will to want to make that lifestyle change. And that's what we're trying to achieve with this webinar also. It's all about lifestyle intervention. It's all about lifestyle change. We try to make sure that we focus on those pain points that's stopping you from actually achieving the you that you want to be, the future you, by starting with an exercise program today if you're not active currently. So the first thing that you need is, as I said, it's you. You're going to start your own body weight. Obviously, if you want to get an exercise mat with some dumbbells, you can do that. You can start, with just like 2 kilogram dumbbells, light weights, and then just an exercise mat for all your floor exercises. And if you don't want to get an exercise mat, you can always use a towel just to make it easy for yourself. But the point is with the slide is just to make you aware that it is not difficult to start exercising. It is possible, and it is something that you can do at home. Whether you've got a couch, whether you've got a chair, whether you've got a kitchen counter, very easy. So, and then also what I've also mentioned here is a lot of times people think that, exercising, yes, okay, it's a structured program, and you need to start now with, with the allocated time, and you need to train in this specific time slot. Without you knowing it, by carrying your shopping bags, by walking up the stairs at your corporate offices or at home, you're also exercising. That is also exercising. That is also building up the muscles. That is also working on your cardiovascular fitness and keeping you healthy and strong at the end of the day. So without you knowing it, you're also exercising. So please, I always try, try and also carry your shopping if you can, just so it's almost like carrying dumbbells when you're carrying it to your car, your Woolworths bags, carry it to your car. Make sure that you keep those muscles active. Make sure to get the bones nice and thick and strong and dense, because that's what we trying to work against, this osteoporosis. As we get older, those bones start brittling. They start getting thinner. So we need to overload them with some exercise. And then, body weight exercises is phenomenal. Very important. Then, most important, stretches. Now, this is something that we need to do on a daily basis. Now, I've given you now a few cheat exercises. For those people that, I am not a fan of exercising. I don't want anything to do with dumbbells. I don't want anything to do with sweating, overexerting myself. Here you've got an option of actually just doing some body weight exercises. You've got that option there. But then also, most importantly, is the stretching also. So for us that's sitting in front of our computers on a daily basis, we are very sedentary. As I mentioned, sitting is the new smoking. So we need to fight against that. We need to fight against that inactivity, and our body's getting damaged on a daily basis. So I'm just going to go through just a few stretches here, which I think is vitally important that we need to do on a daily basis. Now, obviously, there's a lot more stretches that you can do, but for me personally, and that's why I've marked the lunge stretch there, which I think is so vitally important. Now, the lunge stretch, you've got two options there. So as I say, the key, what I want you guys to just take away from this webinar is, even if you don't want to do some of the exercises, just that at least take that mental note or that mental image of some stretches that you need to do, some of these stretches, which you can then do on a daily basis and practice those stretches. Because as I said, we are trying to open up spaces, we're trying to work on the posture, we're trying to open up the back, we're trying to open up the hip joints. So these are just some of the vital important stretches. So as I mentioned, the lunge stretch there that you can see there, it's a very easy stretch. You're just on your knee there, leaning forward, and you're feeling the quadricep stretch, the hip flexors stretch, and that's opening up the space there. So this, I've got the two options. As you can see on the slide in the middle, you've got your normal lunge stretch, and then the other one is a little bit elevated. They're on your right-hand side where the lady's using that wall there as a ledge, where she's also doing the lunge stretch. Now, these stretches, as I say, you can do it on a daily basis. You can do it in the office. You can do it, on a sports field somewhere, or if we're waiting for someone. Some of these stretches you can do. For me, the other stretch also, which is very important, is your stick stretch. Is the one that's on your back there, or you can do it in the office also. Now, the reason why I'm focusing on these the stick stretch there is because, as I say, everybody's slouching forward, everybody's rounded forward, so we get that tightness in the shoulders there and in the neck muscles. Now, with that tightness, we need to try and open it up. Now, how do we open it up? By stretching the shoulders backwards, by stretching the arms backwards. Now, your options with I call it the stick stretch. We can call it the pole stretch, arm stretch, whatever you want to call it. So, for all intention purposes, you've got a pole and you are lying on the floor and you're pulling it. You're trying to touch the floor with your hands. If you want to do it in the office, and you want to make it easier, and even so elbows there, and all you would do is just push back there. And that exercise or that stretch, I call it the elbow pushback. So that says the name already. Okay, the name is is explaining what you'll be doing. So this stretch then you'll be doing 3 times 10 repetitions. Now, ideally, you'd also want to repeat that, even if you do it 3 times throughout the day, in the morning, afternoon, and then later in the day also. That will be phenomenal. That will be #1 prize. But if you've had a long day, your option is also to do it then in the evening during when you're lying in front of the TV there on the floor and you are just trying to open up that space there. Perfect. Excellent. Jeanette, got a question there already. Okay, so Jeanette, yes, how good is walking on a treadmill? It is a very good exercise cardiovascularly. So cardiovascularly, you are exercising your heart, you're going to live longer, all of that. But you still need to overload the joints also, or overload the bones also. As I mentioned, we want to make sure that those bones are thick and strong. You don't want those brittle, porous type of bone structure. And that's why we need to overload it. So yes, cardiovascularly, put in your treadmill, excellent. You can do bicycle, also stationary bicycle at home, excellent. But you need to also incorporate your weight exercises also. And that's when we're going through some of the weight exercises later in the presentation. Just some of the exercises. As I say, through this presentation, I'm just trying to trigger some ideas, just get some structure in your exercise program, and then also at the end, just open the floor if there are any questions. You've got some sort of a structured program already, maybe going at home, or some exercises that you like doing on a daily basis. We will not be interfering with that. What I will be doing is just trying to make you aware of why you do certain exercises and why you do certain stretches also, which is so vitally important for staying active and obviously also working on your longevity and just keeping your body in a good condition. So just bringing back there we go. We've got another question here, Michelle. Is it bad to do exercises in the evening? Now that's a very contentious question. I think it depends on the personality. It depends on the person. I myself, in my younger years, I prefer to actually train 8 o'clock at night. Depends. Certain people train early morning, the early risers, get it over and done with. Very energetic. Start off with the day on a great energetic note, and then you start tackling the day. So I think it's all. I don't think I wouldn't call it a bad thing to exercise in the evenings. But it's, as I say, it's completely up to you. And it also depends on if that activity is actually going to wake up your body at the end of the day. Because it's about, a lot of people maybe drink coffee and then they can't sleep. Some people drink coffee and they can sleep. So it depends on you yourself. So it's your decision there. But good question. Keep it going, guys. Any other questions? I'll be keeping an eye here on the chat box. So just to bring back to our stretches there. So stretches that you can do in your office, we've got the doorway stretch. So that is where you are just leaning through the door. You're feeling the chest stretching open. We're opening up the chest. We're opening up the chest, the lung capacity, and we are breathing better with that stretch there. So your concentration gets improved. Your energy levels improve. We're doing the stick stretch or the pole stretch and the elbow stretch where we're pushing back. We're opening up there. So we're opening up all those discs there. All those discs that's also compressed there in the back, in the neck, and in the low, and in the upper thoracic spine there. Now we also need to give some attention to the lower back. And that's why we've got the figure 4 stretch there. Now the figure 4 stretch, the lady that's lying there on the floor there, and she's pulling the leg across there. It's almost like a ITP hip stretch there. The reason why we do that stretch is we want to try and loosen those discs at the bottom, as I mentioned in the previous, one of the previous slides there. So with sitting, we are compressing those discs at the bottom. And as you can see there in that red slide, let me just find it there. That slide there, I hope you guys can see there. But that you can see there, it's compressing the discs there. So we need to try and keep open those discs, and we need to hydrate those discs also. Because what happens through time, those discs start drying out, they start squashing together, and they're not as squishy as they need to be. So remember, there's not a lot of blood circulation that goes through to those discs there. It's avascular, so there's no blood circulation going through there. But we need to still try and keep those discs hydrated, and that's with doing the right stretches, because they're opening up. Those discs open up through the day, and they close a little bit, and they open. So it's like two little squishies that squish together. So we need to keep them hydrated and stretch them open and keep up in that space then. So that's why it's important to you do your figure 4 stretch, which I mentioned there. We've got the lunge stretch also. The lunge stretch we're doing because we're sitting the whole day. We are shortening the iliopsoas muscle. I didn't put a diagram in there, but your iliopsoas muscle, just to go delve into a little bit of anatomy, is the muscle that attaches to your lower back and attaches to the hip. Now, with that being said there, with us sitting, it shortens. That muscle shortens. So we need to, on a daily basis, try and do your lunge stretch or your hip flexor stretch. Now, I've got the 2 stretches there. We've got the lady that's stretching there on the ledge there, and then we've got the lady there stretching on the floor there in the green. Okay, so they are doing the lunge stretch. They're stretching the hips. They're opening up the joints there. And then we've got the other stretch there where we've also got some sort of a traction there. We hold onto the rail, causing traction. You're opening up that space there. We're opening up those discs there. Remember, the discs are squashed together. They're drying out throughout the years. They're not as soft and squishy as they need to be. So we need to open up those space there. Let me just quickly, I see there the questions are coming in there. Perfect. Great stuff. Tabo, I see there you've invited your wife also to this webinar. The more, the better. And at the end of the day, it brings us back to accountability. So Tabo, if you're not exercising today or tomorrow, your wife's going to keep you accountable, and she's going to say, Tabo, you need to start exercising. Okay, so she's going to keep you accountable, which is great there. Excellent, excellent. Okay, perfect. Let's quickly get into those questions there. Strength exercises, another question here from Tabo. Sorry, strength exercises versus cardio. Which one is good for losing weight? Now, I myself personally, I like to combine the exercises, and that's why I'm a big fan of circuit training, where you've got different exercises. You've got upper body, lower body, and cardio combined. And that's what you can see also these days also is interval type of training, where you're not just focusing on one muscle group or one component. You need to combine it and get the best of all worlds. But remember, vitally important, it's not just exercise, but also nutrition. Nutrition is where, as they say, abs are made in the kitchen. So you need to see what you're putting into your body, and be aware of what you put into your body. So to at the end of the day, reach your specific goals then. Let's quickly see the, I'm just quickly going through some of the questions, and then we're going to continue. Okay. So those of us who work seated and stare into the computer the whole day, yes, that is the photo or the image that I had there. How can we stretch our neck and shoulders and muscles, our fingers, wrists, take strain? Yes, obviously sitting with carpal tunnel. So as I mentioned, this is just for me the most important stretches here, because I'm focusing on the bigger joints. I'm focusing on the bigger muscles groups, but there's a lot more other stretches that we could plaster onto the slide here. Carpal tunnel, yes, we've got issues there. We've got elbow, we've got a tennis elbow, we've got golfer's elbow, and all of that. The main thing I would say, we're already slouching. I like to always stretch to the side. So this stretch, you've seen the physio give you the stretch, you've seen the biokineticist give you the stretch, the chiropractors giving you the stretch. I normally stretch to the side, and what you can do is then just sort of just with your eyes upwards. And I normally try and then keep the shoulder lower. So you're trying to open up that space there. I think that's the main tip that I would give, is not to, we're already slouching forward. So why would we want to try and stretch even more forward and lengthen that and irritate that muscle even more? I like to stretch the sides here, and I like to open up the chest muscles and open up the thoracic spine and the neck. So that's for me what it's all about. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I've got Carol here. Suggestion, I used 2 empty Coke bottles and filled it up. Yes, it's COVID times. That's what we all used to do. There we go. Perfect. Great stuff. Yes. Yes, Carol, I would suggest, if you can, you're looking at for women, I normally say 2 kilograms. So you're looking at 2 kilograms at least. So you need a 2-liter type of bottle. And then you're looking at maybe like a milk bottle or something like that. So that would be my suggestion. That opens you up for a whole lot of options, where you've got your side raises that you can do. Let me shorten my arms there. Side raises, or you can do your rows then on the bench. I'll show you guys later on in this presentation. Okay, so you're looking at 2 kilograms specifically to start off with, but obviously it depends also maybe on the age and the condition. Okay, let's quickly carry on there before we get too sidetracked there. Then, very important stretch here, very nice stretch actually. I saw this stretch a few years ago on Facebook, and yeah, actually clicks the back, open up that space. So even if you don't want to do your lunge stretch and your figure 4 stretch and your chest stretch, this one is actually a very good very good stretch there. You can also do it on the knees. So if you've got a low chair, you're stretching on the knees and you're opening up the space there. That opens up the chest, and it clicks up your middle back there, which is awesome there. So this stretch you can also do well, if you at your company. If your other colleagues see you stretching, then they're going to also want to join with your stretch, with your elbow pushback stretch and all of that. So this is also important stretch. So as I say, stretching is not just you ideally every 2 hours, if you can, do some sort of a stretch, and you need to get into the habit of actually stretching, not just sitting the whole time. So if you are able to do it more often per day, not just once a day. So this is just, I thought, let me include this stretch here. Very easy stretch, something that you can quickly do there by your desk, while you're at the office or at home by your kitchen counter. You can quickly do this stretch. So that brings us to our stretches. Very important to stretch on a daily basis. So you've got some sort of a stretches that you can do. Exercises. So also, it's almost no equipment needed there. Don't need to be complicated. Nothing. You don't need to be fancy. And as you can see there, you only need your own body weight there. I've given a few options there, but don't, obviously you need to adapt it to what your fitness level is, what your skill level is, and what you're able to do. And whether you've got an injury or condition, adapt the exercises. A lot of times people say, I'm sitting with a knee injury, sorry, I can't, you know, I've got arthritis in the knees, or I've got a shoulder issue. Tip number one, I think, just take away the movement. So if you're sitting with maybe knee pain and the movement causes the pain, take away the movement and keep a static exercise. Even if you do a static squat, just holding that position just for a few seconds, and then long-term, try and build onto that, build on as you get stronger. You still need to keep that muscles active and awake at the end of the day. You don't want the muscles to atrophy. So you can still train those muscles, obviously just bearing it and keeping it into that no pain-free zone, basically. Okay, so that you don't cause that friction in between the joints or the tendon or whatever is inflamed or causing that specific issue. But as I say, you've got not a few, you've got actually unlimited exercises that you can do at home. You don't necessarily need to go to a gym. The other thing is also what makes it better is obviously if you can train with your partner training. Someone that can keep you accountable. So you've got a lot of options here. If you want to train back, shoulders, legs, core, which I've actually left out here, your normal plank there. It's also one of those holy grail exercises, the normal plank that you can do at home. And you can build it up every day. It's about that consistency, building it up and doing maybe 20 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute plank. Build it up into side planks, change, doing some more progressive type of planking. So there's a lot of options that you have, a lot of things that you can do to maybe make it interesting and keep it fun at the end of the day, because that's obviously one of the most important things that you need to do. Okay. So this was just some of the home exercises that you can also do. But as I say, a lot of times, if you look at social media pages where people go and sell their treadmills and their bikes and all of that, they start with a bang of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then they go and buy everything, and then they lose motivation. If you go and look online, there are so many second-hand treadmills and bicycles and dumbbells that's available for people that start with a bang, and then eventually they lose that motivation. So I think just start with the basics first. Start with your own body weight exercises. Say to yourself, and consistently maybe doing it every single day. Build up a pattern with some macro habits, and build that into, so that it can feed into some macro habits where you start doing that every day and just challenging yourself into doing more more exercises and keeping yourself, fitter and getting stronger on a daily basis. And most people, you start with maybe 5 push-ups or 10 lunges, 10 squats, and eventually you build it up on a weekly basis where you try and do more and more, where you challenge yourself there. I hope that helps. Then we've got your question here. Yumna, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So what advice would I have for someone that's going through menopause and struggling with painful joints? Same as I would say for someone with arthritis or someone with some sort of an impingement issue or painful condition. Slow down the movement, adapt it. A lot of times, as I say, don't shy away from exercise. Remember, exercise is medicine at the end of the day. So you still need to exercise. You just need to adapt it somehow and slow it down and rather focus on static exercises, keeping the muscles still active and building the muscles as opposed to not doing any exercise at the end of the day. I hope that answers your question. So as just an example with your squat or you would not be doing any jumping exercises or any impact exercises if they cause more pain. So no impact or jumping exercises. And I would just slow it down. Even if you want to do some floor exercises with your pelvic lifts, relying on your back, lifting up your hips. Very, very easy exercise that any health professional will almost give you that exercise in the exercise program. But yeah, I hope that answers your question there. Okay, yeah, Byron, very good question there. How effective is sitting on an exercise ball while working on a computer? So I think a few months ago I tried to do the standing desk option. And it was, I must say, it was very difficult. It was not easy. As you can see, I'm already sitting again in front of my computer back onto the chair. I think if you alternated between sitting on a ball, standing desk, sitting on a chair, I think it would help, but it would be very beneficial. But it's difficult to just do one specific thing. Sitting on a ball suddenly for hours and hours for the next 5 to 10 years, however long you'll be working, or standing at a desk. So I think just maybe get the best of all worlds, alternate it, do a bit of desk sitting, chair sitting, standing on a ball, and just alternate it basically. But I think exercise ball, as you know, engages your core, phenomenal. It's a good thing to do. Obviously, that's what you want. But yeah, I think just make always sure that you've got the right height, so that you don't sit too low and cause other issues there. So legs need to try and your feet need to be planted, legs need to be bent, knees need to be bent basically 90 degrees almost. And then from there on, just focus on your posture. We don't want that crouching tiger, hidden dragon, where we're slouching forward and rounding the shoulders forward. So vitally important, make sure that your ball or your chair is the right height, and then make sure that you also have your computer screen lifted to eye level. I sometimes have a secondary monitor. So if you've got your laptop there, you want your laptop maybe on the side with cables, your HDMI or your normal, I think it's a VGA cables. Connect that, and then you've got your screen then lifted in front of you. Nice big screen, because we don't want that slouchingness forward. So yeah, just to give you some office ergonomic advice there. So it's all about the big screen. Try and keep it in the middle, and try not to have something rotate too much. But in any case, let me not get sidetracked there. That's for another webinar of office ergonomics. Okay, does your table and chair have an effect on your seated posture? Yes, definitely. As I've already mentioned, and as I've showed in the previous slides there, it has a huge effect on your body. Whatever bad habits you have today, fast forward by 5 or 10 years, and it just accumulates, and it's just exacerbated into next. So if you're slouching forward in the next 5 or 10 years, you are going to be slouched forward with rounded shoulders. If you're already sitting with low back pain, fast forward by 5 years, you're sitting with more low back pain. So that's why it's vitally important. Make sure that your keyboard is correctly placed. Make sure that your computer screen is in the middle there, right in front of you, so that you don't slouch forward there. Make sure that your chair at the back is supported and you're sitting upright as you should be. Anything that you do, if you are rotated to the one side, if you've got your screen on the one side and you are rotating, what happens to your back? Your back starts turning, twisting. So you're sitting with scoliosis. And then later on, your hips also start tilting. So your hips start tilting. And then what happens then? You've got then a leg length discrepancy. You've got more issues. Your one leg is stronger than the other leg. Your hip muscles are more stronger on the other side. You're going to sit with scoliosis. Sciatica. So all those things do play a role. So it's very important. Be balanced. Sit balanced and sit upright straight. I hope that answers your question there. Perfect. Ek dink dit is, ek kan nie naam sien, Karin. Yes, Karin, ek sien hierso, great stuff. Ek is seker, ons by Bestmed sal seker vir die video kan stuur, of na die tyd sal dit seker beskikbaar wees op die platform daarso. Great stuff. Great stuff. There we go, Trisha. Okay. We can chat afterwards there. Excellent. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Sumaya. Okay, sorry, let me just answer Raymond here. Is there any advice about no pain, no gain? Is it advantageous or damaging to your threshold or to go to the threshold of discomfort, especially for seniors with muscle loss? Very good question. Thank you, Raymond. So first thing first, we need to keep muscles active, as I say. As we get older, we lose a lot of muscle mass, and that's what we're trying to fight against. So we need to do weight exercises and challenge the muscles and build on the, or keep, even if you maintain the muscle mass that you already have. Now, as far as no pain, no gain, all I can say is I think a lot of times, a lot of the gyms, a lot of the CrossFit studios, they start too much too soon, and they try and either it's maybe a sales tactic, first session, try and maybe, do too much too soon, let you feel it, now you're stiff. The problem is you usually don't go back, or you've injured yourself you've done box jumps and you've over challenged yourself by doing something that's too challenging or too athletic. But I would say, Raymond, I think no pain, no gain. Good question. I would rather just say you need to challenge yourself, obviously, but within limits. You know what your limits are, and you don't want to over exert yourself to something that you're not able to do. I think I hope that answers your question, but I would just say still challenge yourself so that your body doesn't get used to which exercise you're doing, but still feels that it needs to adapt and build muscle and build on the bone density through doing this exercise that you're doing on the specific day. In terms of, there we go, Sumaya, in terms of heart and arthritis, which exercise should you do? As I mentioned, no impact, no jumps, I would say. Cardiovascularly, you can get on a bicycle, stationary bicycles, to do your bicycle exercises. And then also obviously hydrotherapy, where it's low impact, no jumping. And it's also very good for the joints. All that synovial fluids that you want to flush into the joints again, very good for the arthritis, and also for the pain management at the end of the day. Okay, perfect. Let's quickly get to our next slide there. Okay, coach's tips there. Coach's tips, we'll quickly go through there. So we've delved now in there. Exercises, you don't need any equipment. You just need your body weight. If you want to get nice and fancy, you get 2 dumbbells, you get your exercise mat, and it's unlimited to what you can do there. Coach's tips there. If you want to now target, you want to now lose weight, you want to be healthy, don't skip meals. A lot of people skip their meals, slow down the metabolism, and that's when they're sitting with all those start sort of storing the food. So whatever you eat, you start storing the food there. Number two, a lot of people fall off the bandwagon there, especially women are not drinking enough water. What we're doing by not drinking enough water, we're slowing down the metabolism. We're keeping all those toxins inside our body, so we're not flushing it out. And that is the problem. And that's when we're sitting with a lot of health issues, even high blood pressure, more acidity type of issues and all of that. So try and always keep yourself hydrated. And I am specifically there saying water. I'm not saying coffee, guys. I've seen a lot of the corporates that we go to. Corporate, some people drink 6 to 8 cups of coffee a day. I think if we had a raise your hand option here, I think everybody would be raising their hands. No, guys, keep yourself hydrated by drinking water. A lot of people then say, I don't like the taste. Then put some flavorants in there. Lemon, a few drops of lemon, but you need to keep yourself hydrated in a healthy way then. Okay, perfect. We've got the number 5 there. I said they stretch on a daily basis there. I'm just squeezing through here because I can see the questions here popping up also. So I want to just quickly get all the questions there. Then there, number 7 there, I've mentioned they alternate your exercises or circuit training there. That's why I say it's very, very important not just to focus on one muscle group, but focus on, I like to combine it. You've got upper body, lower body cardio, upper body, lower body cardio. Essentially, what's happening also, you're moving the blood around. So there's a lot more blood flow, and you actually then, the heart has to work harder. You're burning a lot more kilojoules there, basically. Perfect. Okay, then we've got the manage sleep and stress. We're going to delve into that later. Balance your training routine. So as I say, don't just focus on chest exercises, which a lot of the men try and do, or the mirror muscles, as they call it, the biceps and the chest. You also want to focus on the back, the triceps, and all the other muscles there. So don't just keep your exercise program balanced. There we go. How to achieve your fitness goal: drink enough water, eat balanced. It's all about steps, building yourself up towards that goal that you want to achieve, whether it be weight loss, whether it be just living longer, just being fitter, keeping your body healthy. Don't skip your meals. And then, as I say, my suggestion, according to the American College of Sports Medicine, yes, they advise you 3 times a week, train 3 times a week. I would suggest 4 to 5 times at least, but not each time doing an exercise session, maybe going for a walk outside, or maybe some sort of something that's fit. Maybe go for a hike on a Saturday, just keeping yourself at least fit during the week then. Perfect. And then, as I said there at the bottom, their diet is 70 to 80%. So it's vitally important. As I mentioned, abs are made in the kitchen there. I've mentioned there sleep, very important. So yes, you are exercising at home, you're stretching at your during the day at work, but also you can't achieve anything if you don't sleep enough. Our brains need to get rid of those toxins. They need to regenerate new brain cells. They need to flush out all the toxins from the body. Only way that we do it is by sleeping enough. If you're sleeping enough, that's also obviously going to help you to prevent Alzheimer's and dementia as you get longer. That is the biggest risk factor that most of us have is Alzheimer's and dementia, and along with osteoporosis and arthritis and all of that as we get older. So vitally important sleep, so that you also get rid of, reduces the inflammation in the body. Perfect. Okay, let me quickly go into the questions there. I just want to quickly squiz through questions. Perfect. Thanks, Melody. She's probably already left there. She says she's got a client meeting there. Okay, perfect there. Ntami Singh. You've got a question here with regards to supplements. Okay, so that is opening up a huge can of worms here. I'm not a big fan of supplements myself. The basics that you need to, in terms of, I'm talking about now all these shakes and powders that you normally see. The basics that I would suggest, yes, supplement-wise, omega-3, your fish oils, definitely number one. You need to have a good quality magnesium. As you guys have seen it all over social media and stuff, magnesium is used in like something like 300 body cell reactions. So your cells have got receptors specifically for that. So I would say magnesium, I think, is one of the number one supplements. And then also maybe just the other main number one is creatine. I'm opening up a can of worms there also. But if you look at the research, as you get older, because due to the fact that you're losing muscle mass, and you don't have enough creatine, because of you not having enough creatine there in the body, you're losing a lot of muscle mass there also. So, or let me rather say, because you're losing muscle mass, you don't have enough lot of creatine. Remember, creatine comes natural in the body. So supplement on the creatine so that you can maintain that muscle mass there. So, and they're saying 5 grams a day, between 3 to 5 grams a day, if you can. So, I would, number one, to answer your question regarding supplements, as I say, that's actually for another webinar, opening up a can of worms here. But to play it safe, or my mindset, stick to the basics, start with the basics, look at cutting down on your carbs. If you're eating too much carbs, make sure that you're drinking enough water, and then get your omega-3 in, your magnesium in, and then maybe just a good quality multivitamin also, basically, just to make sure that you've covered all the things, basically. Yeah, I myself also take curcumin or turmeric, basically, just to help some with the inflammation. Because I'm a very acidic, and I've got a very acidic type of body, basically. I hope that answers your question there. Let's quickly, Ed, what mix of cardiovascular and muscle strength exercises should one have a target? You can split it up into a 50-50 type of session, or your other option is, if you want to do one day cardio, next day strength, next day cardio, next day strength, that's also an option that you have. But at the end of the day, it's about having fun and challenging yourself, at least it must be something that you can enjoy also during a session. So I hope that answers your question. I don't have a specific target. I would just say, you want best of both worlds. Cardiovascularly, you're going to live longer, but strength-wise, you're trying to build up the muscles and make sure that you don't sit, that you can stand up easy as you get old, so that you can reach up if you want to fetch something as you get older. Remember, as we get older, we get a lot less immobile, so we're not moving as much as we should be. Perfect. Okay, Marina's vraag so oor 'n Bestmed biokineticus. My suggestion would be, I think Wilmarie can answer that question later on, but I assume on the Bestmed portal, there should be a list of all the accredited biokineticists that is accredited for the Bestmed program. Remember, you guys have got then access to biokineticists free as benefit to go and see them for assessments where they test your blood pressure, your glucose, your cholesterol, and all of that there. Just a quick one there, Wilmarie, if you can just answer that one question, and then we go carry on with the rest of the questions there. Wilmarie?
Cobus, no, you did answer that question perfectly. I also messaged the member. Yes. So if you log in on your Bestmed app, you will find a list of all your service providers, and the Bestmed wellness service providers, like the biokineticists, are all listed there. You can contact any one of them. This is also where you will find Cobus's details, because he is also one of our registered Tempo wellness providers. Thank you.
Perfect. Cornelius, another question here. Struggling with cramps in the calves when you're doing stretching and all of that. That's also, as you've probably tried it, magnesium, potassium, bananas, all those type of things. I think the best would be obviously to speak to your doctor or to a dietitian. I don't know if you maybe dehydrate quickly, sweating out all those electrolytes, specific electrolytes and all of that. But that's also, it's not an easy answer I can give you currently, but I can just give you the basics: magnesium, potassium, and then make sure to also just drink enough water also. Yeah. We've got a question here. I think it's Reiter. Okay. There we go. Okay. Right there, losing muscle mass because of chronic disease and illness, also muscle wasting. So you've got some atrophy there. So as I say, so you're losing muscle there. How do you strengthen it? How do you maintain it? As I mentioned, one of the supplements you're looking at in is creatine, 3 to 5 grams. Just make sure that you're not allergic to anything. Maybe speak to your dietitian or your doctor if you want to, but you can get it from any pharmacy or any health shop, your normal creatine. And then also for exercise-wise, your options are hydrotherapy. You want to maybe go into water, still keep the muscles active and mobile. And your other option then, if you don't want to do any weight training, you're looking at the TheraBands, those elastic bands there, where you also sort of overload the muscles and also just overload. You want to overload it so it gets stronger and just builds up some more muscle. So you're causing a little bit of muscle damage, but at the end of the day, you're building up on that muscle then. There we go. Jonita, sit on a donut cushion at work. It helps a lot. Yes, if you're struggling with sciatica and all of that, takes off the workload, gives a little bit of padding there at the bottom there because you're spending a lot of time on the chair. Tremendously good advice there. Excellent. Yeah, anything I think just to keep put some padding into the chair that you're spending most of the day with. Ek kan nie naam sien nie. Ek dink dit is Karin. Wanneer ek soggens opstaan, pyn, my heupe en my lyf is seer. Wat kan ek hieraan doen? Okay, so your opsie is, if it's an alkaline type or acidic type of issue, I would just suggest, okay, so this is, as I say, this is now, we've got this webinar. I'm getting on just a short little small snapshot there. But if it's an acidity issue there, you're gonna, I don't know how many cups of coffee you're drinking. Some of the companies that I've seen also, a lot of guys drink Monster energy drinks and all these type of energy drinks. Remember, it causes a lot of acidity. So if it's acidity related, you're gonna have to cut that out and focus more on the alkaline type of foods, your Mediterranean type of diet with your fruit, fresh vegetables, your greens and all of that. Drink a lot more water. Other than that, if it's a arthritic type of issue also, I would also just focus on just more alkaline type of foods and all of that. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. And then other than that, just the stretches, open up the joint space there. But look at diet-wise also. It could be something that you ingesting quite a lot there that's causing the acidity or the stiffness in the joints there. That's normally the first thing. And then other than that, just focus on your stretches there, basically. Let me just quickly there we go. Sorry, Wilmarie. Jay, if I say.
Maybe we can just answer one more question.
Yes.
I'm going to read you from one of the Q&A. What disadvantages are there for eating before we exercise?
Okay, so that's also a bit of a difficult question because it's also, I think, depends on you. Some people say don't eat before you exercise. You know, a lot of the long the marathon runners and all these long distance runners, they try not to eat beforehand, or some people do it for weight loss. They say don't eat before you go to gym so that you may burn more kilojoules and all of that. Sorry, Vilmarie, is the question. The question is, what's the benefits of it?
Oh, the disadvantage.
Oh, the disadvantages. And no, look, obviously,
Yeah.
disadvantages, you could faint, could get dizzy, your blood sugar could drop, and then you're passing out in the gym there or something like that. So I think that's one of the biggest. So I think just don't overindulge, just don't have a heavy meal before you exercise. But at the end of the day, just something that depends on also the activity. If you're going to do, there's a vast difference between a long distance run and a short burst of energy, high intensity session. So I think just something that's maybe not too heavy. I hope that, that would be my first important suggestion there. Okay, perfect there. Wilmarie, I'll quickly squeeze through this here. I see we are running out of time. Most important exercise there, squats, guys, squats. It increases your longevity. You'll live longer. Your thigh muscles are so vitally important as you get older, guys. So I think that's just to summarize the most important exercise, squat on a daily basis. Whether you're at home, office, in the gym, focus on squats there. Okay. There are no excuses to start today. As I mentioned there, Tabo, your wife is going to keep you accountable. There are no excuses, guys. Stay consistent. Small bricks build big houses. So even just a little bit every day, those small little habits build into bigger habits where you can do that on a daily basis there. And I think that is it from my side. I think most of the questions we already tried to address there. I hope it did help. I hope you guys are going to walk away with some sort of idea of what you need to do when you get home or in the office. And thank you so much from my side.
Thank you, Kobus. Yes, I will read you a few more questions. Maybe you can just go back to the second last slide. I want to invite all our members to just please take a moment, scan the QR code that is on your screen now. Just give us your feedback on what was your experience today, what we can do better. We would really love to hear from you. So, Kobus, I saw a very interesting question. Let me just
I've
open
got
it
a
here.
question there. How many squats? I would say look, if you can, like three times 10 a day. So 3 sets of 10 if you can. Yeah.
Yes,
You're gonna
I
live longer.
personally, in COVID time, me and my sister-in-law challenged each other with a squat challenge where you start with 100 a day and then you work up. I think we went up to 700 before we called it quits because you can't believe that you're able to do it. You start with 10 and you do another 10 and then before you know it, you actually reached your goal. So like you said, small consistency and you just keep at it. I just want to see if there's anything else that we can quickly answer. No.
Thanks,
All right. So
Trishana.
while everyone is, do you have a question there that you want to answer, Kobus?
No, I'm just thanking.
So
Thanks,
before we just
Trishana
end,
there.
uh, I just want to invite all our participants today to also participate in the Bestmed Tempus Fitness Challenge that Kobus has actually designed for us. And we will be launching on Friday's webinar session, which is an empowerment session that digs a little bit deeper into the motivation that we have behind our fitness. And then I will also share all the information that you would need, what Kobus challenges us to do every single day and how you can participate in the Bestmed Challenge and the competition, which obviously with all competitions, there is prizes up for grabs. So I want to invite you to please do register for the webinar that's on the 16th. It's this coming Friday, and then participate in the fitness challenge. Kobus, I want to really say thank you because one of the main things that I'm taking away today is sitting is the new smoking. Because we all think we're living healthy, we're not smoking, but sitting is the new smoking. You don't know how we're actually damaging our bodies just by sitting and doing our jobs every single day. And that's small steps that we can take to incorporate much healthier exercises. Um, please don't try to push yourself to do 700 squats just yet, but start with, like Weber said, maybe 10 and then 3 reps of that. It is great fun. Thank you, Quibus. Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone. Have a
we're not
wonderful
as
afternoon.
yeah, we're not all as fit as Vilmarie, so we can't all do 700, you know. But yeah, thank you everyone. I hope
That was
you guys are
COVID
gonna
time.
yeah, I hope everybody's gonna at least take something away from this presentation. Obviously, it was a compressed with a lot of information, and I did speak a little bit quickly, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time then. Thanks everyone, and goodbye.
Bye bye, everyone.